Hello. Hello.
Hey, Berho.
Hey, ¿cómo estás? How are you?
I'm good. No, I was in the shower when I opened it, so I just want to have the screen there.
What a
So what's good?
difference.
What's good?
It's, it's good, good. I'm here. I'm actually working. I'm doing deliveries. And I was looking at TikTok and I saw you. Then you went away. So I just stayed and then I saw you again. So,
Oh, I was in the shower.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you just saw me. Yeah. So, so yeah. Oh, man. So it's good.
Nothing. And I just did the screen. Oh,
Give me a second. I got a phone call.
uh, okay.
Mi hermano, buen día. Oye, estoy sorprendido. En el live que tú hiciste, tú publicaste del 923. Veo que ahí ya, cuando está bien avanzado el live.
Hello? I'm back. ¿Qué pasó?
No, I was to listen. I was listening to a message. Uh, Milo was texting me.
Milo. Tengo tiempo de no ver Milo.
Milo, my buddy Milo. Oh, Milo is yeah. He been busy. He been there hanging on. Um, so I was let me see. I don't know. Some of the chargers don't feed on the actual phone. Uh, so you've been doing lives? Were you live yesterday?
Yeah, I was in the live yesterday. Man, I keep telling a lot of Trinitarians, Selving, a lot now. Orthodox, Protestants, a lot, Selving.
Really?
Yeah, I've been
I
getting a
think.
lot. And they all have the same argument, always trying to get me back to understanding the church fathers.
Uh huh. Yeah, that's the only weapon.
Everything. Yeah, so like it was just crazy. And like, even within themselves, right? They have different belief systems. It's crazy. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I seen him. I seen him because sometimes you asking a question and then the other guy said, "Ah, I answer," and then another guy come up and said, "Hey, no, you're wrong about that." So they don't agree even with between them.
Yeah. So you're trying to start you know, uh, uh, a correct argument, and you can't do it. What's up, Tammy? You can't do it because um, they argue within themselves, and then they argue with you,
Right.
and they can't
So
even get them together. I'm like, oh, forget it.
that's what I tell my people when I say something like, wait, let's talk about it. So even you when I say something and you know what, we can talk about it before because there is some stuff sometimes that you haven't see. Sometimes you haven't see something and you might get into get in problems because sometimes they say can't see all my topics. Can see it?
So, I wanted to ask you a question, if you don't mind me asking. Now that I have you up here,
Uh-huh.
um, I looked at one of your videos a while back, right? And you gave an explanation of Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, right? When he says, "Let us make man in our image." Did you change your position when it comes to that? Because when I saw your class that you gave one Saturday, it sounded a little bit different. What is your position on that now?
Yeah, but I remember when you said when he's gonna make men, when he's gonna
Hmm.
make men, listen, he always call Listen, he called to the earth, right? He
Right.
said,
Right.
yeah. So produce, produce, produce. Yes. Same thing can be with the man. The thing is, in this part, I was kind of concentrated in the words, let us. That word, specific word, let us. So what the word mean, let us? Because he's talking to somebody, but at the same time,
Yeah.
he's calling the earth because he made it out of the dust, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the thing is now you have to understand just a little to the right. I don't know what he's talking. Which Sandy saying?
Your
Sandy,
picture.
come
Your
up.
picture. The
My
picture.
picture.
Yeah, the picture you have there with the writings. I guess the tilted. It's perfect to me. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
I
the
see.
phone.
I see. I see. Yeah. I was doing it. Que mueva la pantalla un poquito a la derecha. Oh, must be some of the phones. I think it's some of the phones. Sometimes they take some of the edges. I think it's the edging phones that takes the pictures. Yeah, I'll do another one. Let me. I'll wait. Just give me a second.
So hello everybody. This is Preacher Selbin. He'll be right back. He's just fixing his picture front. Just give him a couple of minutes and he'll be right back. He's actually right now. He's going to be explaining to me the Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. Um, his position within the us. He was in the middle of that, but he had to go pause for a little bit because he's fixing the
I
picture
can
frame.
fix it. Can fix it right now. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna do the screenshot again.
Yeah, take your time. We'll be right here. I'm stepping out the house. I'll be checking back and check back and image. Wow, this car is like. Oh, that's exit 13. Oops. Oops. Oops.
Can you guys see it now? But now it's yeah. Can you guys see it better?
I mean, it's bigger. It's bigger. So I don't know.
Hey, Teo, Sandy, can you guys see it better? Or is it the same? All right. Okay. So in Genesis, you have to see. You have to understand that Genesis is not the creation of the sun, moon, stars, the earth, and plants. The creation in Genesis 26 is the man. It's the creation only, the creation of the man. So that's the only place that let us. So when you said let us, you have to see the context. Why is because in the context is more than that. In the context is not only that he said let us. You have to see right in the context. When you read it, it's much more. He said, then God said, let us make mankind in our, so stop there, in our image, and then it says according to our likeness, and this is the part that is explaining let us. When it said let them rule over the fish of the sea and over the birds, you see, of the skies, and over the livestock and over all the earth. So it's a special part of the creation. So he started calling the earth, produce this, produce that, you know. But at this time, he called more than the earth. All right, he's gonna make it out of the earth, but he's calling somebody else in there because he's trying to make a point that the man he's creating is the top of the line. He's trying to make a point with the angels. He's gonna tell them what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna give him the dominion. So he said, "Let us make men," and then according to our likeness. That's the problem, because now he said, "And rule." That's the context. And rule. So that's why he called the angels, because he wanted them to understand that this is the human being dominion. It's not the angels.
Right, because I see the same language in Genesis chapter 3, verse 22, when it says, "A man has become like one of us."
Right.
It's the same word, one of us, knowing good and evil. So that if he's talking to the angels in that verse, in that chapter, that means he had to be talking to the angels in chapter 1, 26.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's what I believe, because he's just calling them to let them know that this piece, this masterpiece that he's gonna form, he's gonna give him dominion over everything he just created before. So he has to let them know, and then through the Bible you see the communication, you know, between God and man was through the angels. And if you read Hebrews 1, you said that the angels are our helpers for salvation. So they are a spirit, they are ministers for us. And then every time you read the word angel in the New Testament, you have to look it up, because he said that the man received the law for mediation of the angels. Have you read that?
The what?
That he said the God gave the law in mediation with the angels.
God gave who? Law?
The law, yeah.
The law. Oh, yeah. The law. God gave the law. Yeah. I think isn't it in Acts or in Hebrews?
No, no, it's not in Hebrews. Let me find it. So every time God communicates it, let me see.
Could be in one of Paul's letters. I don't remember exactly where. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I've been checking your videos concerning the angels and how God uses the angels, and
Yeah.
I'm reading back a lot on the Torah and the Tanakh and the New Testament. And I was on the live yesterday, and I was telling people, I was telling this I don't know if he's Trinitarian, I don't know exactly what, and I literally told them that God uses his angels. God could use an angel today to bless you if you're obedient, or he could use the same angel tomorrow to curse you if you're disobedient. Because we were talking about
Oh yeah.
the sense
So
of
look,
being. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, when you see if you see in Hebrews 1 verses 7.
Yeah.
So when you see Hebrews, let's go to Hebrews. Verses 7. It said, and regarding to the angels, you see that? He said,
Mm-hmm.
he makes his angels
Ministers.
winds
Mm-hmm.
and his ministers in flaming fire. So it's talking about the angels. And then if you go to Hebrews chapter 2, verses 5, the new world, so the coming world, he said in the verses 5, for he did not subject to angels the world to come, about which we are speaking. So he's saying that even the new world, he didn't subject it to the angels. So when you go to Revelation, I mean Hebrews 1:6. So when you say Hebrews 1:6, he introduced the Messiah to the angel and said, when he again brings the firstborn into the world, he said, let all the angels of God worship him. So it's the first time he's gonna get in there. Because the word introduce, if you go to the Hebrew word, I mean to the Greek word for brings, is the word introduce. When you
Mm-hmm.
introduce, Walter, when you introduce somebody, it's because that person don't know him yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time you are introducing. It's like when you bring a new worker. You say, hey guys, come, let's meet Oscar. Hey, this is Oscar. You know, Oscar is the new guy. I want you to treat him good, okay? Teach him whatever you need to know. So that's what happened in heaven. But this is a special occasion because God is introducing Jesus as their leader. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
you go to when you go to let me see, I've been having problems because I let my little son
You okay?
see my phone
Oh, okay.
let it use, and I have messed up some of the PDF. Okay, I got it. So Hebrews 1:7 is quoting Psalm 110:1, and it said, sit on my right hand. So it's talking about the angel. When you go to Hebrews 1:14, he says this again. Are they not all ministers spirits sent out to provide service for the sake of those who will inherit salvation? All right? So
Mm-hmm.
you see the angels involved in everything. When you go to Acts 7:52, in Acts 7:52, you're gonna see something in there.
Acts 7. I don't have my Bible with me, but I'm gonna write down what you're telling me because I'm in the middle of work.
Okay, he said, which one of the prophets did your father not persecute? They killed
Mm-hmm.
those who have previously announced the coming of the righteous one, and you have now become betrayers or murderers of him. So if you read the next verse, he said, you who received the law as ordained by angels,
Right.
and then you did not keep it. So that's the text. If you go Galatians 3:19, same thing. In Galatians 3:19,
Galatians
you're
3.
gonna see it. You're gonna see it again. We said, why the law then? It was added to account of the violation having been ordered through angels. So the point is clear that God mediation with men was through the angels. And you go to Colossians 2:14 and 15. You go to James 1:26. So it's gonna be the same word. Sometimes they translate it as only as something else like messenger or stuff like that. So that gets you confused. So that's why God decided, you know, God decided to talk to the angel and said, "Let us make men." So he included the angels on this task because they need to know that he was creating men, but he was creating the man, and then he was gonna give him dominion over everything. That was the point.
Has to. Okay, he says when. It says when was angels added to the scriptures?
Huh?
He says when was angels added to the scriptures? Is the question.
So when were the angels introduced through the scriptures?
Yeah, it's that's what he said in the. I don't know if you see it. You see it?
Yeah, the thing is, you don't find the word angel really. What you find is the word host. Host. There is a Jehovah of host, and you keep reading the Old Testament, you're gonna find the host. Every time he said the host, he's talking about the angelic beings. And sometimes when you hear Lord Host or Jehovah Host, he's talking about that he is the king of the Israel armies. Yeah, I can prove it to you. The host are the angels. Can this person come up? Because I want to show and I want them to read the text by himself. The host. Okay, let's go to First King. First King. Whoever is there. First King 22 verses 19. Verse 19. And it said, and Micaiah said, therefore, hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on the throne, and all the what? Read it in your own Bible. Read it in your own Bible. And it said, all the host. That's what it's saying. Host of heaven, standing by him on his right and on his left. So he stopped talking, and all are. I know you can read it in Hebrew, but I'm reading. You can go to the Septuagint. You can go to La Septuaginta, the Greek translation of the Old Testament, and look it up. When they say host in the American Standard Bible, the New American Standard, it says angels. I didn't write the Bible. Do you, Walter? I didn't write that Bible. The first time the word angel is in the Bible, like angel, is in Genesis 19. Genesis 19, 1 and 15.
So I think he's saying that in Hebrews it's something different. That I think that's his argument.
The Hebrew, yeah, it says host. What do you mean host? What do you think the word host mean, Walter? The word host.
Uh, Host is like well, if I do the actual meaning, it's like when you host something, like something is gathered together.
Right. So they said the Lord of hosts. So it
Yeah,
means he's the Lord of those who are with him.
exactly. So like on TikTok, you're the host because you have
Right.
people there.
And you're
You know,
hosting with me.
yeah, your host. Yeah, exactly. So it involves more than one person
Right.
or
So I didn't
one
write that
individual.
thing. And you got to go and talk to the American Standard that he's trained now the King James by it. The American Standard, their work was great because they fix all the King James problems. So that's the answer. So when you start, so whenever the Bible says host, That's what it's saying. Host means, I'm going to go to First King, the word host.
That's halfway true. Let's say I am hosting, right? But if I'm hosting, that means that there's other people with me, because then there would be no actual, how can I say, purpose of me hosting anything if there's no other people in there. So you have to have more than one person. So yes, I'm hosting my live, or Selvin is hosting his live right now, but he's hosting because he's expecting people to come to his live.
So look at the description of the word zavah in Hebrew. That's the word host. It said that which it goes forth, army, warfare, host, army, host, organization, organized army, host. And then he said host of angel. It can be sun, moon, and stars. He said the whole creation sometimes. Warfare, service, go out to work, to service. So the word host is just a generic word for including all of those who are with him. Yeah, you see, David, thank you, David. So you see, Genesis 2:1. Thus the heaven and earth were finished, and all the host of them. So the host mean a compost of things in one order. That's what it means, host. So all of those who are with God, they're called host. So God was talking to the angels. If you don't believe so, just go to the Bible. Sometimes when David went to war, he said David was with all the armies of Israel. So it's the same word. All right. So if there is anybody who's hey, what's the lady, Walter? A lady that I see all the time as a moderator. Who was that?
Who, Sandy?
No, your girl. The one you had all the time there?
Oh, I
Love
have two. I have
Love the Truth, something?
yeah, Love the Truth. Yeah, that's one.
Yeah,
She's
she's good.
yeah. I sent an invitation. I don't. Let me send her an invitation. See if she wants. Cause sometimes she'll come in. Let me Leo.
Trabaja mucho, dice, work much. Who's that? Oh, Roberto. Okay. It's okay, Roberto.
So I'm gonna be going in and out, Selvin, because I'm doing deliveries and I need my GPS.
Yeah,
So.
I'm just gonna be here for a
But
few minutes more because
I'll be listening though, definitely.
yeah, I'm hungry. I'm really hungry now.
No, but don't finish your life. I like what you're saying right now.
Oh no, it's okay. Yeah. So that's every time when people come up to these subjects, this is the thing. Sometimes they don't look like they're not ready. For me, I think they never heard these things we're saying. That I think that's, I'm guessing, right. They never heard of what we're saying. I think they don't, because when you hear a Unitarian the first time, when you hear a Unitarian, it's a shock. So it busts you up. Every time you hear the word Unitarian from that day and on, you're gonna be like, There it come. This guy, these people called Unitarian. What's wrong with these guys? What's wrong with this guy? Why are these guys saying that Jesus is not God? All right, David, thank you. So I was talking to a guy the other day that he was reading, yeah, biblical Unitarian, yes, when the hero word, when the Bible said, "But a body you have prepared me," in Hebrew. When people read the text, they think Jesus is speaking about when he was in heaven, when he was in heaven. But the thing is, he's not talking when he was in heaven. He's not saying that he was in heaven, and he said, and he's kind of looking back, and he said, "I remember when I said this, God, I was there, and then God prepared me a body. So I just jumped from heaven and getting my mom's wound, and you know."
It's like a Selma. It's like a lady that comes up, right? God's true. She says that God had a heavenly body. Jesus, the Father, had a heavenly body. Came down, made himself another body, and then went back and made himself another body. It's like what? It's a lot of bodies.
Yeah, I see people trying to explain it. I see Joaquin the other day trying to explain it in a way using the grammatical structure and then fighting these guys over a little word in English. But sometimes you have to go for the context. You have to go for the context because you know one word, and then you explain that word. That doesn't mean you get the context right. So I'm gonna read it for you, okay?
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, therefore he comes into the world, and they write the word he said. I don't know where those translators get the word he said. In the Greek is not he. You see that? The word he is not there. So it's the writer. He's quoting. He's quoting from the Old Testament text. So he's not saying he said. The writer is saying it said. So he's talking about the scriptures. It's like I quote you right now a text, and I tell to you, and I say the text said. I'm not gonna say he said, right? Because so if I say he, I have to explain who is he, right? So when you go to the Greek text, the word he is not there. So therefore, when he comes into the world, says. So they are trying to apply it to Jesus, that Jesus said. No, he's quoting. He's quoting. Hola, hola. Bienvenidos. He's quoting. And then he said, "You have no desired sacrifice and offerings, but you have prepared a body for me." Okay. So the word here, the clue, you know, the word we have to check is the word prepare. What it means, prepare. He comes into the world, right? That's the first thing he does. And then he said, "A body you have prepared me." So, and in which world is he getting into? All right. So when he said a body you
Yeah.
have prepared me, the word prepared, that's what you have to check. A, a body you have prepared me. That word doesn't mean what they think it means. They think that God is saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get a body. I'm gonna have it like in how you call it? Have you seen those robot movies that they have this body connected with all wires and water and what else and little things with the cells and everything?" That I think that's in their imagination at that minute when it said to render. The word to render doesn't mean to prepare. Thank you, brother. To render, to fit, sound, complete, to mend. And it said what have been broken or rent, to repair. So what it means to prep a body you have prepared me. What is Jesus meaning with that? No, he's talking about that God, through all the suffering, God prepared Jesus. Through all the suffering, God made Jesus saint. He sanctified Jesus. He prepped Jesus' body because Jesus was flesh, like all of us. So he said, "A body you have prepared me," but they go for the body. They thinking it's a body without soul. It's a body before the creation that God prepared for him. No, he's talking about he sanctified Jesus through the suffering.
So is he talking about his glorified body?
No, he's talking about that he was able to live a life without sin because God was with him. That was what the metaphoric text is saying, because when you read in another text the word prepare, it's talking about to fix something, something that was broken. So Jesus came into this flesh. He was born a human, but he was a human, a fallen human. Do you get the point? So Jesus decided not to break God's law, but he did it through the suffering. Through the suffering, he perfect this body through suffering. That's what he said. You render to me a body. That's what he's talking about. He's not talking about that God have in a body. He said, Jesus, you're a spirit. Now jump to earth and just get in that body.
So even I think even what you call it, Paul speaks. I think it's um of the first Adam, and he was fallen because of disobedience, but the second Adam was raised because of obedience. So that's exactly
Yeah.
what it means. So
So
it's
the
being
second
reborn.
Adam brings it back.
Yeah, brings it back. So brings it back to the original. Well, shows you the
Right.
way to bring it back to the original state.
This is you look the rendering of this word katartiso. That word means ethically to straining, perfect, complete. But look at this. May one what he ought to be. Ought to be. You see that? May one what he ought to be. So what do you get out of that? That he was God, or that he was made perfect through the suffering, to the obedience, following the law, living in the spirit. That's what he's saying. A body you have prepared me.
Yeah, Hebrews chapter 5, verse 7, 8, and 9.
So that's what he's talking about. But when people go there, but a body you have prepared me, they think he's talking about and since pre-existing, he said a body you have prepared me. So now I'm gonna be a human or something like that. I think that's how they try to put it. But I don't think, because that word is used later. A body you have prepared me. So, you know, let me give you. Do you want to receive a pakata this morning?
Pakata, let's go for it.
All right. All the 12 people that are here, do you guys want the pakatation? You want to have the pakatation this morning? If that was a body that God preparing, look at this, look at this, look at this, Walter. If that was a body that God prepared for Jesus, do
Show it
you
in
think the
camera.
God is gonna prepare as a sin, you know, a body with sin? If God prepared a body, you have to be a perfect body, correct? Look, the same word. Look, the same word. Can you read it? If you get access to Matthew 4, verses 21,
Yeah, can you put it in camera?
I'm gonna put the camera. Show them the word. Show them this word. Look. Ay, 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 ay. I'm gonna show you what the word there. And Matthew 4:21 is the same word. A body you have prepared me, the word prepare me. Katartizo, the word katartizo. Look it up. That's the same word. So that means that God gave him a broken body to Jesus. So you prepare me a broken body. You prepare me a body full of sin. No, prepare means to render, to fix, to live a life, to be better, to sanctify, to be apart, you know, to separate. So Jesus says, so you a body have prepared me. So Jesus is giving glory to God. The God was the one helping him to be perfect. That's what the meaning of the word. Walter, do you have it?
No, I was saying that you show it. You show it in camera.
Oh no, I'm just gonna tell you. When you
Yeah.
go to Matthew, when you go to Matthew, when you go to Matthew, when you go to Matthew 4:21, it says, going on from there, he saw two other brothers, James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother, John. And the boat, you see that? He saw the boat, jump in the boat with the father Zebedee. What he was doing? What he was doing? What he was doing? Mending the net. What the word means? Mending the net. Oh. What the word means? Means reparar. Reparar, arreglar lo que está roto. Wow. Remendando. Oh yeah, it's mending. Mended the net, and he called
Repairing,
it.
fixing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the word means, render. To render, you know what the word render means? Because we added video, right? So what do render means? Because the video is in pieces. It's in pieces. So what you do, you render the video when you editing, and then you save it. Do you get it?
I'm definitely gonna check that out. Definitely gonna check that out because
Yeah,
that's their whole theology there.
right. I'm killing it. So the word, if you go back, how Jesus was able to do this, you just go back to the chapter 5.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 5. Chapter
Excuse
5,
me,
verses
excuse
6.
me, Selvin. Excuse me, Selvin. 1 second. Sandy, can you DM me all those verses? Because I'm in the middle driving and I can't write all the verses. Thank you. Go ahead, Selvin.
So when you read Hebrews 5, verses 7, it says, and look how he starts in the days of his humanity. Look at this. Humanity. He offered up both prayers and pleas with loud crying and tears to the one able to save him from death. And he was heard because of his devout behavior. See that? He was hurt because of his devout behavior. So that's how he's fixing it. And then he said in the verses 8, although he was a son who learned obedience from the things which he suffered. See that? How he learned it? Through a suffering. And then verses 9, it's just explaining how Jesus was made perfect. Verse 9 said, and having been perfect, he became the source of eternal salvation for all of those who obey him. How did he get it? Oh, because God prepared a perfect body for him. No, he get to this stage. He didn't get there because he was God or he was an angel or because he pre-existed. No. He said clearly in verses 9, and having been perfect, he became the source of eternal salvation for those who obey him. For those who obey him. Verses 10, being designated by God as high priest according to the order of Melchizedek. So Jesus is telling God, but a body you have, like, you made me perfect. God, thank you, God, because through all this suffering, I was able to, to make you happy. Because God always telling the Israelite, be obedience, don't do this, don't do that, I don't feel joy when you disobey me. But Jesus made God proud, So Jesus' obedience brings joy to the Father. That's what he's saying. But a body you have prepared me. A body you have fixed it. A body you have perfect. I've been, sanctified because I've been doing what you asked me to do. He's talking about when he was from the baptism to his death. That's exactly when he's talking. Because when he said, when he comes into the world there, when he comes into the world, when Pilate asked him, are you a king? And he said, that's why I was born. That's why I came into the world. What he called the world means the sinners. The world means the people. That's what he's talking about. So he said, when he comes into the world, he said, a body you have prepared me. So when he came into the world was from the baptism to his death. So God prepared a body for Jesus. He perfected Jesus. He sanctified Jesus through the obedience. Jesus was able to do what he did because he was humble. He was obedient. He obeyed God. That's it. You got it, David. You prepare me a body like the fisherman prepared his net to go fishing. So Jesus could not be the Messiah. Jesus could not be, the Savior. He cannot be the King. He cannot be the High Priest. But he overcome sin. Being a human being, he overcome sin. And that's how he got a perfect body. He said, God, you have prepared me a body. He's not talking about like he was sitting in the cloud, like, pink cloud. And he said, oh, you prepared me a body. So I'm going to jump to it, and be perfect because this body you have prepared me. Oh, it's a perfect body, God. That's how they put it. They said, you prepare me a body. So the body was kind of in Mary's womb, and he said, oh, I'm ready. I'm going to jump into it because you prepare me a body. That's how they put it. Hey, Juan Mendoza. How you guys doing? So there was a guy that said he never doubted that Jesus was God, and I tried to bring him up, but he didn't come. So whoever wanna come up, you just jumped into it, right? Hey, Evelyn.
They do that a lot. They like to chat, put a lot of comments in the chat. They don't want to come up. So what I do now is just mute them because you got a lot to say in the chat, but yet you don't come up and talk. So I just mute them.
Yeah, when I invite Dad, my buddy from New York, I want you to meet him sometime. First century Christian. I don't know if you wanna come up, but that's the thing. When you go to the Greek text, you don't find the word prepare. People think prepare means that you are doing some donuts and you preparing the la masa, you preparing the flour and you prep like with oil and you mixed it. They think he's talking about that. No, a prepare is not the right word. I don't know what they were doing with the translation, but the word means you have fixed me, you have sanctified me, you bet me. That's what it's saying. Through the suffering, Jesus made it from the baptism to the cross. He become greater and greater and greater and greater until he died. He died and said these words. And when you go to Matthew, I think it's Matthew 27, 50, 51. Let me see if I can find it. That's how Jesus is gonna say these words, and he didn't make it. It said on verses 46, Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani. That is, my God, why have you forsaken me? And then later, he said, it's finished. When Jesus said, it is finished, why did he say it's finished? Because he knew the kind of life he lived. He pleased God. He pleased God. That's why he's saying, but you have prepared me a body. Because God was there for him. He said, the Father never left me. Everyone can leave Jesus. But he said, the body is with me all the time. Okay, Juan, ¿cómo estamos? We can do this, what I'm doing, but I need a translator. I need a translator sometime, Let's see who's here.
Selvin, good morning, good afternoon to Bear Hawk. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear us clear and loud.
All right. I'm very happy that you are trying to preach in English too to the English people. I wish I speak more English too, so I can preach the Word of God in English. But I'm trying to get better on my English so I can teach in English also.
Yeah, that is no problem. You just keep doing it. Keep doing it. We get better. We get better with the practice. No one was born with everything.
Yes. Selvin, I got a question. Maybe you can help me. I was going to ask you when you go live in Spanish, but I was going to send you a message about. I was listening to a preacher talking about when Jesus rise from the dead, that he took Abraham and Joseph and all those guys that took him to heaven. But I think in the Bible says, like in Hebrews, that they're still sleeping, right? I don't know if you can help me understand that part. I don't know if you're talking about this right now or I just got to the life right now.
Yeah, you have to read 1 Corinthians chapter 15. When Jesus was made the first fruits Jesus only. Jesus was made the first fruit of those who sleep. The
Okay.
Bible don't say. Only Matthew say those things. Only Matthew. Only Matthew. But later, so no one else knew what Matthew knew, you know? This Matthew was the only one who recorded that. But if you go to First Corinthians, it says Jesus was made firstborn of all who sleeps. So how can Paul be saying that Jesus was made the first fruit? Jesús fue las primicias, los primeros frutos de los que durmieron. Entonces, si Jesús fue los primeros frutos de los que durmieron, how is that possible?
Yeah. He was preaching about. I heard the message that you preach about Lazarus and the rich guy. Like you say that was like a history. You know, like megaphora. How do you say it? It was a megaphora. It's like a
Metaphor.
story.
Metaphor.
That.
A metaphor. Okay.
So he was
Okay.
preaching.
Okay, so look, 1 Corinthians 15, I think it verses 20. So this text is so clear. This said, but the fact is, Jesus has been raised from the dead, the first fruits of those who sleep. The first. Let me put it on the screen. Let me do the screen. I wasn't gonna do this, but I'm gonna do it for you.
Thank you, Selby.
We're gonna charge you as an offering.
Huh?
I said we're gonna charge him the tithes and offering.
Yeah, look. But the fact is, Jesus has been raised from the dead, the first fruit of those who are asleep. Who is Jesus? The first fruit of those who are asleep. En español, el Cristo, primicia de los que durmieron, es hecho. So that means he's the first. There is no one else. No one else for now. All right, let me give you another text. Hey, can you cut the microphone, please?
Yes.
All right, so you go to Hebrews 11. When you go to Hebrews 11, look at the last two texts. Here is in English, here is in Spanish. And he said, and all this, you see, having gained approval to their faith, did not receive what was promised. No, they did not receive, in Spanish. No recibieron la promesa. They did not receive what was promised. Because God had provided something better for us. So that apart from us, that will be made perfect. So what he's saying, look, proveyendo Dios alguna cosa mejor para nosotros que aquellos que fueron perfeccionados sin nosotros. So what he's saying is that God, he didn't give them anything to this guy. They just die. They just die. So Jesus was the first. And then Paul is saying, and then us after. So they did not receive what was promised. Who's he talking to? He's talking about Abraham and all of the guys who died in the Old Testament. All right, David. Juan, ¿viste los textos?
Yes. So, Selvin, so when Jesus come, they're gonna wake up, right? As the people.
Yeah.
So they're still sleeping, right? They're still sleeping.
They're still sleeping.
Okay, thank you. That was my thing that he was, because they use a verse that say when he went, I heard you preach before that's not true, when that he went to help and take
No.
en el seno de Abraham que se llevó a todos los que estaban ahí.
That's nothing to do with the scriptures.
Thank you, Selby, for letting me know this. I'm gonna read Corinthians 15 and
15,
Hebrews. I got, yeah,
15, 20,
15,
and the last two verses of Hebrew 11.
20. 15,
So
20,
15,
verse of
20,
Corinthians 15
Hebrews
and
11, Hebrews 11, 39 and 40.
30. Okay, all right, Selby. Thank you, I appreciate it. I just came to say hello and continue the word of God that you are doing. Amen.
Thank you.
God bless you. I'm going to continue working here. I need to talk with somebody. But
All right.
thank you to Bert Hawk also for being with you there and
Gracias al
everybody.
oso.
Okay?
Gracias al oso.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll share the live with in WhatsApp, okay? So they can know and come to you.
All right. All
All
right,
right.
Davey.
God bless you.
Davey, what's good, Davey?
Hey, good morning. Everything great so far. It's amazing what you have just taught me right this morning about Matthew 4, 20, 21. I never seen these passages like this, like the one you said that you have prepared me body. Uh, it's like also like preparing the nets. That's what they were doing when Jesus called these guys to be their ministries. It's amazing. I mean, I was like reading it, and then when I see the same word in Hebrew and English, I'm like, oh, so this is what really meant. Because
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I didn't have that passage that clear like I have it right now. That's
Great, man. I'm happy for you. I'm
yeah.
happy. I think all the guys that are here, these 20 guys, I think I got around 200 people. Well, counting all of them. But the thing is, I always heard people speaking about this text. Somebody was telling me that this text is after he resurrected in heaven. He said, a body you have prepared me. He's talking about heaven. But it doesn't make sense because when he comes into the world, and the word there, when you see it, the word there is the world. So I did my studies like a year ago about this text, and the word there is cosmos. So I discussed this with this guy, and we almost got in a fight. Not in a fight, but it was really. I feel bad. I feel bad the way he treated me, because he said, "What are you talking about? You Unitarian, you don't understand this." So he was saying that this text is talking about heaven when Jesus resurrected with a perfect body. No, it said a body you have prepared me. No. So I went to the text and I started doing my own researches, And I know I like the way you said it, because some people don't see that some things. So you have to go through the text, every word, every word,
Yeah, but the passage is clear. It says when he introduced him into the world, that's when he prepared his body to become a minister. You cannot be a minister if you're not prepared for it. You need to be sanctified, prepared. You need to be holy for you to become a high priest. And that's, I mean, look, I read all these passages in Spanish, and it's a different story when you read it in English, especially the King James, which I'm doing right now, which, let me be
No, this
honest.
is not. This is not the King James. This is the net.
Well, I
The
have
net.
the King James version, and it's basically the same. It's not. It doesn't change much. It's basically the same. But it's
Yeah.
amazing. It explains to you more reasonable, more understandable when you read it in English than when you read it in Spanish. Because you got so many words that you have to add in Spanish. In the English version, you don't. You just read it as is, and it's amazing. It's interesting.
Yeah. And you see, Jesus suffered. So why he's gonna say he was suffered, and that way God perfected Jesus through the suffering. So that means the body God preparing wasn't a perfect body, because it's not talking about preparing a body. It's talking about a perfecting a body through suffering. That's why he said, "You have prepared me a body." What is the context? He prepared him a body that he was able to be perfect, but he did it through the suffering.
Exactly, like he did to the Israeli people when he took them out to the desert. Why he took them out to the desert? To test them, to prove
Right,
if they were going to follow them, guide them by their commandments or not. Because if you're not going to follow me and do my commandments, you're not qualified to enter in the land that I have promised. I mean, that's how he. I mean, that's how God prepares not only just a body, but a group of people through suffering to see what they have in their thoughts, in their heart. You know, if they want to be their people or not. And that's what it says on the Revelation chapter 14, I believe, 14, 12, that those who he called holy, holy people are those who do his commandments. And that's interesting because that's how your body is also prepared by ruling yourself by his commandments. It's beautiful when you read it in English. It's amazing. I liked it. I never seen you like this. This is my first time in this life.
no, but
That's
I already done it in Spanish. I done it. Maybe they didn't give me the video, or I didn't record it. I just was answering question because they come up with this thing a couple of times before. I don't think they done it much because the only thing when they bring this argument is when they talk about Jesus' preexistence. That's
right.
the only way they bring it up.
Yeah, but it's amazing work you're doing.
Thank you. Because so that when they speak about the preexistence is when they bring this text up, because they said, "Oh, but God prepared him a body before he was coming." He said, "When he comes to into the world, he said, you prepared me a body." So the word "prepare" is in past tense. So they think he's talking about, okay, you prepared me this body when I was still there, and no, you have to go to to the text, to the Hebrew text. The word is not saying you prepare me about talking about time. Prepare in past tense. When he said prepare me a body, he's talking about his perfection, how God perfected the Jesus in earth, to be perfect, to be example.
Yeah. That's what Hebrew chapter 10, verse 5 and 7 through 7. It says when he introduces him into the world. It doesn't say when he introduced him in heaven. It's when he put him in this
And
world.
the
That's
word
what.
there is cosmos. The word there is cosmos. Cosmos. It's not ecumene. The word ecumene is the one used in Hebrew 1:6, Hebrew 2:5. That's the word ecumene. When he's talking about the coming world, is the word ecumene. It's elected. The word ecumene is when the elected is just talking about a part of the whole world. And then Hebrew 10:5 is cosmos. It's talking about the Jewish people. All right.
It's amazing. Look, I'm reading the because I have a bilingual Bible, and the title that has in King James, 1969, I believe is this one. It says it's talking about the will of God, which accomplished with Christ's death. That's what it says on the title. But when you go onto the English side, the English version, he's talking about God fulfill his will. That's what it says. God fulfills his will. And that's when he's talking about, therefore, when he come into the world. He says, when he came into the world, when he came down into the world, that's when he said that he didn't want no sacrifice, offerings, and all this. He never his desire, but the body you have prepared for me, like you prepare me, to be holy, to be saint, to become something that will carry or have your word into and teach it clean, a clean word to me to preach the clean word. You prepare my body, you sanctify my body to carry your word because his word is it's holy. And it's
Yeah.
amazing because it's got different titles, but when you read it, because the title that they put here, it's basically trying to guide your mind, your mentality to that title. So, but when you forget about the title that's on top, and you just read it, like you remember, we talked about John chapter 1, verse 1, about the word of God, that he was
Yeah.
God. When you read that passage without your knowledge that you already have, and you read it clean, like the first time you read it, you don't believe that there is the Messiah there. You only believe that there's something going on in there, and it's not about the beginning of the world. It's something else. But you have to read it without the knowledge that you already have in your brain, your mentality.
Right.
It's amazing. It's a great job you're doing right now. I understand it better in English than when they teaching me in Spanish. But yeah, you're doing a great job right now.
All right. No, I had to go for now because I'm gonna eat, and I see downstairs my wife and her sisters are cleaning the house, and it's a lot of vacuuming and stuff like that. So I don't want to be in the middle of that because I don't like the noise when I'm speaking.
Okay, all right, that's cool.
Walter, I have to go. I'll be back. I'll be back soon. Maybe in Spanish. Maybe I come in Spanish.
All right. Let me know what time so I can be on because I don't like to miss this teachings.
I see you. I see you in my life all the time, bro. I appreciate. Hey, I'm gonna call the guys in the. Are you in the chat? In the WhatsApp chat, Virginia chat?
Yes, yes, I'm on both on Telegram.
Okay, I'm gonna text them and see what's the best day for all of us to meet up in Harlem.
Okay, all right. Just let
All
me know
right,
because I can do it at nighttime, except for Friday because I got meetings. Wednesday I have meeting for musical because I'm the one.
Friday. But you say you're free, like you are free, like uh Thursday, right?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays. I can't do any of those days except for Wednesday and
All
Friday.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Um. All right. So I had to go. Thank you, all of you guys, for being here. Appreciate you. God bless you, and God keep you. Keep you learning. God keep you out of evil. Try to be a believer. Live your life as a believer. Don't live your life of a non-believer. People think they are Christian. They say they are Christian because they belong to the Christianity movement or they belong to Christianity, but that doesn't make them believers in the Messiah. Because if you believe in the Messiah, you have to live by it. You have to behave as you preach. So when somebody come up and tell you some wrong stuff, you know, if you answer in the same way, you are as equal with them. You can't do that. So if you're gonna answer, just answer, you know, with a reasoning, with a believer reasoning. Walter,
Amen. Mm-hmm. I'm
yeah,
here.
I know I have to go. I was telling you people that I appreciate them, but I was telling them some stuff that if you're a believer, you never answer to somebody with the same argument. You don't go insult people, You
Right.
have to treat it. When I see people against my argument, I don't see enemies. What I see is I see a field. I see a field that I can go there and throw some seeds on it. I see me as a preacher and I see them as people who need to be preached. That's what I see. I don't see enemies. All right. So I see you when I see you.
Okay. Thank you.
I see you when I see you.
Yeah.
Shalom,
Thank you.
family.
All right.
God bless. Shalom. El Eterno te bendiga.
Oh,
Estamos
yes.
hablando.
Okay. See you when I see you.